Well, awesome. Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you, Karen, and thank you everyone for joining us. Um, Welcome to those of you who are new to this space. We are indeed practicing medicine Buddha. Uh, yeah, so here we go. And thank you all for joining this weekend. For those of you who tuned in for the programs, we had what, three programs this weekend online, and it was really wonderful. I think it felt wonderful. So, and lots more is coming. There's some really wonderful things I'm waiting to announce, but we're still working on releasing that information, including one very special in-person appearance in the Bay Area, in Oakland in November. But we haven't gotten all the details together to announce it. But if you're in the Bay Area, be sure to mark your calendar when we announce it. It's going to be real special event. But anyhow, here we go. I wanted to open up the session tonight with uh with Alvin Ailey, with this incredible work. Alvin Ailey, most people know a little bit about Alvin Ailey, but he was a black, gay man who founded his company, the Alvin Ailey Company in New York in the 60s, I think, and maybe 70s, late 50s, 60s in that area, and had been studying with all these great, dance um, legends. I think Martha Graham, I think he was with Martha Graham, for a bit, and just felt the racism, right, in the professional dance world and the rigidity, and wanted, Black people to have spaces to explore dance. So he founded his company, which really transformed American dance and modern dance, and he created, this masterpiece, Revelations, which was rooted in the history and struggle, particularly of Black Americans. One of my favorite pieces, my favorite piece is his choreographed piece called Cry, which is dedicated to his mother. And I wanted to play that. First, I wanted to play Laura Nyro, um, because Laura Nyro, is incredible, soul singer, R&B singer. I wanted to play the second section of Cry that was choreographed to a Laura Nyro song. And then I was like, oh, let's just look at something. It wasn't well planned out. It was spontaneous, spur of the moment. But you get the point. You can go on YouTube and watch all of these videos on your own as well. But anyway, I felt like I wanted to play this section of Revelations called Fix Me Jesus. And that's, of course, a spiritual Fix Me Jesus. But it really is so, you know, much about devotion and surrender. How do we open to the care of the divine, of the sacred? And you see that in the dance, in the choreography, right? And I just saw it here in Atlanta in February, I think, too. So it's still fresh, as well with me. But the lyrics and the choreography coming together to like actually emphasize this thing that we're always trying to do in our practice, this thing that I'm always like trying to get us into, which is how do we open and surrender to the deity? How do we let the deity touch us? Right? Because all the conditions are set, all the protections are set, right? Everything is clear, everything is protected, everything is stabilized. And when all of that is in place, what's really keeping you from opening, and surrendering, right? When we talk about this opening mantra that I developed, Minla Sange, Om Minla Sange Kino Soha. I've talked a lot about Kino, the word Kino in Tibetan meaning like know, to know, right? So Medicine Buddha, please know me. but Kino can be interpreted and expressed in any kind of way that feels beneficial for us in the moment. So it's more than just no, right? Like Medicine Buddha, please gaze upon me, right? Medicine Buddha, please heal me, please accompany me, please journey with me, please touch me, right? Please break my heart open, right? Please hold my fear, whatever it may be, right? Like Medicine Buddha, please, like that prayer is the prayer is what begins this process of consent, with the deity. Please hold me, please look upon me, please fix me, right? Um, and so bringing that energy as much as possible, the more we open to the blessings of the practice of the deity, the more we will be blessed. You know, the more we drink, the more we will be, you know, you know, the more our thirst will be quenched, right? The more we eat, absorb, the more we will be filled, right? And you can open as much as possible, and still you can open more to it, right? Um, so I feel like that's like something that I want us to be aware of and really pushing against in terms of our boundaries around surrendering and opening, letting go, right? Um, into the practice. Right? I think something that we don't talk about in healing work as well is that some of us actually have become very comfortable in our suffering, which sounds really interesting, but it happens because our suffering becomes familiar, right? And that familiarity, creates this illusion of comfort and stability. At least I know how this hurts, right? At least I know what this feels like. At least I can deal with this, right? And we become really attached to the suffering. And so when we talk about healing, healing means that situations, our conditions, our experiences will change. And when that changes, then of course you're going to have to figure out who you are, right? In this space, this experience of healing, right? And some of us don't want to do that, right? Some of us are so afraid to risk healing because it means that we have to experience the discomfort of figuring out who we are beyond the suffering, right? And that creates a block for practices like this. It's hard for the energy, the blessings, whatever of the practice to kind of move to cut through that, right? If you're holding on, because we're not talking about forcing you to do anything. Like the practices aren't forcing you to do anything. That's violence. Everything that happens is consensual, right? Even if you don't know exactly what's happening, you can still say, you know what, whatever happens, I consent to it in this blessing, in this practice, right? Whatever happens, I consent to it, right? Um, and it doesn't mean it's not going to be hard, it's not going to be a struggle, because it still can be. Absolutely. You know, the work of healing is indeed can be very painful, right? You know, but it's even more painful, I think, when we're resisting letting go of how we've essentially self-identified with the pain, with the suffering, which is, at the end of the day, what I'm talking about, it's like we're self-identified with the suffering, right? And some of you, your work ahead is to actually start letting go of these experiences because they no longer serve you. And guess what? They don't actually put you in closer solidarity with people who are struggling as well, by the way. that just makes you work for other people. Right? Um, like we have to let go of using pain as a basis for solidarity with people, right? There's got to be something else. Right? Like I don't have anything for you if I don't have my healing. Right? If I'm like lost in my suffering, what do I have to give you? Right? If I didn't have the experience of my healing work and my life and in my practice, I would have shit to give you right now. Right? And if I were able to give you something, it would be more trouble. Right? Like I would just be transmitting my unresolved trauma right through the practice into you. And I hope none of you would be there for that, right? But some people get off on trauma being transmitted through practice, right? Because that's what they think healing is. This is what they think spiritual work is, right? And that is the the viciousness, I would say, of samsara and the carceral state, right, is that you have been conditioned to see suffering as liberation, right? But more so, you've been conditioned to see bypassing suffering as an option, when in fact it is not an option, you know? It's this temporary pleasure, this temporary whatever, but it's temporary, right? Um, but this deeper experience, right? This deeper experience of surrendering to the blessings of the deity. Well, in this case, the blessings of Chenrezig. I'm sorry, the blessings of Medicine Buddha. Chenrezig is still on my mind, apparently. We had a good practice on Saturday. It lingers. It's still lingering with me, right? But the blessings of Medicine Buddha and surrendering, submitting to that, thinking of ourselves as like the female dancer in the choreography and Revelations, right? To be lifted when we fall, like to be carried when we can't, do anything, right? To always be held. That's how the deity accompanies us, almost like a shadow, but even more than a shadow. It's just like always, it's like we're the little spoon, you know, if you if you follow, right? Um, Not to disclose so much, I'm never the little spoon, If I'm the little spoon, then that's a real big man. A very big, okay, but anyway, that's not the point. The point that I'm going to sear into your mind, you'll never forget it. When we're practicing Medicine Buddha, you're the little spoon. So, and you'll never, ever be able to let that image go. So there we go. Um, but what else, we're gonna get into practice, of course, right? But I guess the theme of the practice, as always, the theme of practice is always surrender, to allow myself to be held, right? Which is an act of care for myself, right? To allow myself to be held is an act of care, right? To surrender, to let go, to begin to choose to lift and to be lifted from these denser experiences of suffering, because if I were to translate the lyrics, Fix Me, Jesus, for this practice, it would be lift me, Buddhas, lift me. lift me up, right? And then at the end, Eric, we're gonna play out tonight with love, lift me up, keep on, love is lifting me higher and higher and higher. That's it. So we're gonna do higher and higher. It just came to me in a vision. Um, so yeah, so let's do that. Let's get to this, right? Um, and as always, as we begin, allowing your bodies to come into a position that feels appropriate for practice. And this is important. This is the first act of care for us in this practice, to attend to our bodies. We'll have the mantra up as well. And also just remind you, get the prayer requests, your prayer requests. Go ahead and put those up. But Om Minla Sangye Kino, Soha, right? Medicine Buddha, pray that you know and look upon me. And as always, to replace Kino with whatever you need right now. How, and this is definitely for those of you who have been doing this practice for a bit, how are you talking to Medicine Buddha in your practice? Like, how are you addressing Medicine Buddha? And the best way to be in communication with the deity is through very informal, direct, honesty communication. Like Medicine Buddha is, like your homegirl, right? And when I say homegirl, that's not a a gender, that's a gender expansive phrase within the queers, right? So that's anyone, baby doll, that's anyone. Everyone's my homegirl, honey. Like, including my dad. My dad's my homegirl. Anyway, that's like you have to let go of this like formality here. This is the point. This is the point of my teaching here. And this is the point of all of these years of change and transformation in my teaching style, is to let go of the formality and start having a direct communication, honest, informal, clear, natural communication with the deity. Right? Which is going to be hard. I know for some of us, it's a process because all this seems very ambiguous, and I've been there, right? But you have to start somewhere. You have to start in this discomfort of feeling as if you're just talking to nothing, right? To no one, right? I want to spend just a little more time in this space, in this kind of like warm up and pre-practice, and also to give some of you time to finish your prayer requests as well. But like even now, just sitting, right? Just noticing the space that you're in, noticing the weight of your body, the seat rising to hold you, as we always do. shifting awareness to just all the little details in the space around you, the sound, light, temperature. And some of us are in urban cities, so maybe you may be hearing a lot of noise, people, cars, stuff outside. Some of us are in the middle of nowhere, which is simply all to say that there's a world happening outside of the room that we're practicing in. And the noises, the sounds, the scents that you're smelling, the texture of things that maybe you're feeling, um, thoughts, emotions, your breath, listening to me over the screen. These are the sounds, these are the expressions of the deity. And what we're being asked to do is to learn to perceive beneath the surface of what's arising as phenomena. There's a stillness, right, at the center or in the essence of all phenomena. That stillness is the deity. It's all the Buddhas, actually. And it's into that stillness that we're talking to. That's where we're communicating. That's it. That stillness, right? This essence of the deity of medicine Buddha for us in this moment, that's where the medicine flows from. And this is what we're always trying to get to, even with within the phenomena of noise and chaos and clatter and crisis. This is constant. This stillness is primordial, which means that it is not impermanence. It is not born. So therefore, it does not die. It was not created. So therefore, it will not be destroyed. Right? When I talk about returning home, this is it. This is where we're heading back to. This is what we're trying to remember as our homeland. And it's not that anything disappears, right? The rest of the phenomenal world doesn't disappear because we're attuned to the stillness, right? It means that we begin to understand that all other phenomena is just this echo, this illusion that's emanating from the realness of the stillness. The stillness is as real as shit gets. And the more you attune to the stillness, the more you begin to let go of this kind of desperate, clenching fixation to phenomena. Because so many of us move through the world desperately clinging on to everything because we think that if everything can be super real and permanent, we can stay afloat, right? We can stay safe. We can stay in a kind of relationship with who we think we are, right? But when you're attuning to the stillness, which again is the expression of all the Buddhas, right? Then you begin to let go of this anxious fixation on the realness of everything and you begin to relax. And so many of us desperately need to relax, not in this like hip, cool consumer culture kind of way, right? Which that still isn't even relaxing either. I'm talking about this real surrender into our true natures, which is the stillness. To let go and trust this, the really trust the most authentic expression of what we are. And for all you professional Tibetan Buddhists, because I know you still hang out here, this is what we call pointing out instructions. Just in case you always think I'm making up shit. Most of the time I am. But like this time I'm staying with the lineage, right? And yes, this is hard. Yes, this is confusing. Yes, some of us are completely fucking confused, right? But we have to start somewhere. So what better place to start than confused, right? I started my formal experience with teaching completely being confused. Had no idea what the lamas were talking about. But I knew something was calling me, and this was it. This is it. This was it. Like I was being called home. And that's what pointing out instructions really are. It's like it's being called back home, but it's being given permission to return back by someone who can offer that permission because they themselves are situated there. This is where the real magic begins. The real transformation begins when we are attuning to the stillness, which is emptiness, which is space, right? And it's not the absence of anything, right? It's not the absence of noise, it's not the absence, of pain, it's not the absence of comfort, it's none of that. It is the essence of these phenomena. This is why we will never get free, bypassing and escaping and avoiding, because the freedom is in the essence of what we're attempting to avoid. This is the labor that so few of us in this realm have the capacity in this moment to choose. Right? To believe that the liberation is moving, is about going into the illusion of phenomenon, the illusion of pain, the illusion of trauma, right? That somehow the freedom is moving towards that, not away from it. And this is the surrender again, to surrender to being held by this experience of the stillness of the essence. Beyond the anxiety, beyond the fear, beyond the hesitation, beyond the confusion. This is the freedom. What's keeping you? What's keeping you from really trusting this? And you don't, again, like even in confusion, there's something we can trust. You can even trust the confusion because, again, the confusion is just an expression of the stillness as well. The skillfulness of Tantra here, right, is that everything is everything. Like it doesn't matter what phenomena is, the essence of all phenomena is the same. It's the same stillness. So you pick the door you go through to get back. Every door it leads, every path leads back home. This is Mahamudra, right? Like everything that arises is essentially pointing us back to its origination. This is how one of the ways that, one of the mythologies of Tara's awakening was that in her practice, she developed the capacity to trace the root of sound through meditation. So she followed, in her meditation, she was able to follow sound back to its moment of origination, which is beautiful, stunning. To say that something begins somewhere and I can train to trace that point of origination, which is an extremely high level of meditation practice, to trace the origin of sound. And are you holding everything, which is really the first or one of the earlier stages here is how are you holding everything, right? So this is calm abiding practice or Shanae practice, right? How are you holding? How are you just allowing phenomena to be present without distraction? And then once you get free from that distraction, how are you able to trace everything back to the stillness, to this essence, which is insight? So in this space, we'll transition into, of course, our first mantra again, Ummin Sange Kino Soha. And again, imagining that this mantra is the speech, even though we're chanting it, even though it's directed towards right, Medicine Buddha, we can still imagine that this mantra is also the speech, the music, the chanting of Medicine Buddha. And just to, again, when we talk about all phenomena being the expression of the deity, this is again, I hope we're kind of getting this. This is what we're talking about, right? If the essence of everything is this stillness, this emptiness, right? And if the deity is indeed this very stillness, this very essence, then everything phenomenally, everything that arises is an expression of the deity, including us and our bodies and our minds and our speech. And I hope there's just a little bit of intellectual understanding as we're attempting to have an experience of this. But I tell you what, this was not explained to me like this when I started out. It took me many years to figure out what the Lamas were talking about when he said that all phenomena is an expression of the deity. I was like, I don't get that. So when I have a hamburger, am I eating Chinrezi? You, that's what we think. So again, back to the mantra, and we'll, as always, start with We'll start with chant the mantra 3 times, and then close with But again, managing all the stuff that I've just mentioned, but also, you know, having this feeling that the mantra is arising also at the same time from the stillness, as if we're summoning this sacred music, these sacred mantra, like from the stillness itself. Okay. We'll begin. Om. Om la sange ki no so Om la sange ki no so Om Lasange Ki no So Om. And so we're going to move directly into the main mantra as well. And just really just like holding this particular space. I'm not focusing necessarily on a visualization or anything like that, but I'm focusing on just this experience of resting, relaxing into the stillness that the mantra is attuning us into and leading us deeper into. And as we chant, too, and if you want, this is all optional, I want you I invite you to direct the energy of the mantra into an experience that you need support with. Be it a physical experience of pain, discomfort, be it a situation that you're moving through. And just for this first round of mantras, like just really focusing on yourself, and then we'll open it up. Right? It's almost as if like you're gonna be sitting with this experience that you're wanting to change somehow. And then we'll do, as we usually do, take a break and offer the prayers. Teata bacon se, ma bacon se, rasa sumungate soha. And also another alternative, just sitting and listening and imagining just taking this energy, right, that, I'll be radiating, putting out through my own practice and directing that into where it needs to go. Like this is again what I call essence practice. Like when you pull back the covers of complex deity sadhana, this is what we're doing. It's just sitting in the essence, sitting in the stillness, allowing that to hold us, to surrender into that. Right? The quickest direct channel to the divine. Right? So we begin. O te ada umbegenze begenze ma begenze razu sungatis oha te ada umbegenze begenze ma begenze razu sungatis oha te ada umbegenze begenze ma begenze razumungadis oa te ara umbegenze begenze ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da begense, begense, ma begense, lasse sumungane soa. Dea da Just turning our attention, before I turn my attention to the prayer requests, and again, offering and opening the space and inviting all of our benefactors into the space, all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Dharma protectors, beings of light, benevolent ancestors, spirits, and guardians of the lands that we're living on, and as well as the, guardians, guides, spirits of the elements. And any being in the universe who is dedicated to the liberation of all beings from suffering, we invite into this space to hold these prayers and to work on our behalf in the fulfillment of these prayers. We offer prayers for my autistic 21-year-old son who's totaled 2 cars in the past 2 months. He's now in the court system with 4 DUI charges and driving without a license. Please send prayers that we find an effective alcohol treatment for him that encompasses autism and accepts Medicare and Medi-Cal. Prayers for F, who needs help regulating their nervous system. They felt overwhelmed for weeks, and they feel deeply held so they can fully relax for a while. Offering prayers of deep gratitude for Lama Rod, for the Sangha. Offering prayers for our dad, have the awakening prayers that our dad may have the awakenings he needs to have in order to keep his relationship with the starter, a relationship he seems to be losing. Offering prayers for the seen and unseen beings who are praying for me, supporting me, and loving R and I. Offering prayers for Willie Mays, who is transitioning, rest in power, handsome. Prayers for vaccine sovereignty in Africa. Offering prayers for the babies being born into devastating circumstances in Palestine, Sudan, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Libya, and the Ukraine. Prayers for the people migrating to the United States. May they feel loved. May those escaping violence and persecution find sanctuary. May all human beings strive to disrupt violence of all kinds, particularly that which targets women and femmes. May we know a world free from femicide, matricide, and all forms of patriarchal violence that makes statistics out of us. Prayers for why she cares for herself and her friends. Prayers for my autistic daughter that she accumulate the agency and bravery to begin eating and bathing again. Offering prayers to TRK, navigating challenges as type 1 and being 13. Prayers for his health, learning, and awareness. Prayers for my continued ancestral healing. Offering prayers for my sister S and I, that we both find employment that allows us to be well and pay the bills and do the things we must do in life. Offering prayers for SJR and I to love ourselves. Offering prayers for my sister J, who is suffering from AFib, and that it gets taken care of. Offering prayers for R, L, and I to thrive fully in all ways, that the paths be made clear for us. Offering prayers for my dear friend Ruben, who was rushed into the hospital today with a blood clot in his brain. Prayers for his recovery. Offering prayers for myself that my arm heals soon so that I may be able to reconnect with playing music, a practice that makes me feel my most freest and authentic self, and for my sweetie Danielle, that she may feel comforted and held and find ease and healing after the minor car accident we and others experienced yesterday. Prayers that I trust myself in going through this difficult journey. Offering prayers for Gina, TJ, their families, and all those going through cancer treatments, for Stephanie and all those recovering from burnout, for T and all those healing through from childhood trauma. Offering prayers for myself and L as we navigate and balance our relationship into a more loving flow, for the work I am undertaking with the unseen world and liberation for all beings. Offering prayers to my cousin Emma as they continue to move through their experience of breast cancer. May they move through with courage and trust, and may their body be healthy and well as quickly as possible. Offering prayers for my dear friend Nikki as she navigates breast cancer. May she draw on her strength and the care of people who love her to move through with grace and ease, and may she be cancer-free, healthy, and as well as quickly as possible. Offering prayers that my liver is okay and that the doctor helps me figure out what is causing ongoing pain and how to deal with it. Offering prayers that I, as a Jewish person in America, might discern how to advocate for Palestinians. Offering prayers that Jeff may be able to discover new freedoms despite his limitations. Offering prayers for my dear friend Isaac as he experiences depression. May he know how deeply loved he is. May he return to a state of ease, flow, and joy as quickly as possible. Offering prayers for the earth, our mother. May she be cared for by all beings, and may human beings return to right relationship with her, so that she may heal and return to balance. Offering prayers for my health and body and regaining energy to return to a more full earthly life again. Offering prayers for my loved ones to be healthy, and healed from any health-related suffering. Offering prayers for those dealing with mental health issues, may they find peace and love within. Offering prayers for L, may they feel appreciated and cared for. Offering prayers for P, may their physical health improve quickly. Offering prayers for myself that I remember my own humanity and that of those I am in a relationship with, while navigating ambiguity and challenging situations. Offering prayers for N, may she receive the love and care she deserves. Offering prayers for M and family, may they get everything they need. Offering prayers for myself and my family, prayers that my little doggy will be okay. Prayers for Joe and Sue as they transition in their relationship and in needing more elder care. Offering prayers for those who feel unseen, for all suffering from compassion fatigue, that we may always have an open heart. Offering prayers for Atlanta as Biden and Trump come for a debate on this Thursday. Please protect all the people coming to rally to serve as a voice for Palestinians. May they be protected from any police violence, and may their voices be heard and touch as many people as possible with the truth. May this truth transform many people's hearts. Offering prayers that I may continue to heal in body, mind, and spirit, that I may be guided and guarded. Offering prayers for friends and Sangha siblings FL, RJ, and S and SK. Prayers for Palestine, Haiti, the Congo, Yemen, Ukraine, gender expansive and queer folks, and anyone affected by violence, genocide, and oppression. Offering prayers for my grandmother Irene, whose birthday is today, who kept her Jewish heritage secret even through her dying days. Offering prayers for R, who received a terminal cancer diagnosis and is struggling with his impending transition. Prayers for his family. Prayers for B, whose mother died, and there are complicated family dynamics. Offering prayers for Julie, seeking employment that supports her humanity and beingness. Offering prayers for myself as I navigate growth, evolution, and change, and the normal uncertainty of the future, which is always unknowable. Prayers for my sister Linda, who is facing the possibility of recurrence of multiple myeloma and the uncertainty of what that might mean. Prayers for everyone in all timelines and realms to be free swiftly and with ease. Prayers for abolition and end to all systems of harm. Prayers for Lama Rod gets totally free as soon as possible. May violence disappear for everyone. May everyone heal. May I and all beings relax deeply so we may be held and supported in magic. Asheo. Prayers that I may awaken to the stillness and let go of attachments that cause so much suffering. That I find my way to allowing myself to enjoy a romantic relationship without clinging and anxiety, and with boundaries that protect us both. May we support each other and walking each other home. Prayers for my mother, may her suffering diminish. Prayers for my brother and his son and his soon-to-be third wife. Prayers for my father, may we know peace and love before he dies. Offering prayers for abundance and ease, may I prevail and trust as I enter this new chapter. May I deeply be protected and cared for always. Prayers for my and B's spirit and our families and friends and all those who are grieving. Prayers for Jocelyn on her birthday. May the ease, peace, and belonging that she feels today fill her being. Prayers for Kai as they navigate a very stressful living situation. May they find the willingness to let go of suffering, face the heartbreak, and see what is possible beyond their current situation. Offering prayers for Martha as she continues to move next month and pack up the house. May she feel ease in the transition. Offering prayers for harvesting the medicine from the pain I feel from estrangement to my parents and the deep loneliness I feel from time to time. Offering prayers for those fighting cancer and other life-threatening illness. Prayer for help and guidance for those who love them as well. Prayers to be released from living and thinking in the past and transactional love. Prayers to be free. Prayers for Marissa Hernandez Hernan, who is now in the Bardo. Prayers for my friend Sofia Ordez, who also recently passed away and is in the Bardo. May they find clarity. Prayers for my anger that I may forgive my father while he is alive and we can have a healthy relationship. Prayers for Savannah and her heartbreak. Prayers for Lama Rod that he may be protected and receive everything he needs. Prayers for Grace and her practice. Prayers for a smooth journey finishing our new album. Prayers for my beloved cat Soup for his continued healing post-surgery from his broken leg. Prayers for my beloved wife and I as we continue turning toward each other through our journey of growth, healing, and connection. Prayers for my beloved brother and his wife as she continues to try to fight cancer. May she find healing and peace and an end to her suffering. Offering prayers for Fallon, who needs help regulating their nervous system, having felt overwhelmed for weeks. Prayers for the spirit I will be releasing. Prayers for my postpartum healing. Prayers for community support during these vulnerable times. Prayers that my procedure will go smoothly on Thursday and I receive what I need to heal and strengthen my body to continue practice and to get free. Prayers that my barriers to opening to all the love that is directed to me can be removed. Prayers that my relationships with my wife and mother are cleared and healed, and for healing of all the family trauma that my ancestors and descendants hold. Prayers for the healing of my friends and family with chronic and terminal illnesses. Offering prayers for the worry about addiction and addictive tendency passed down as generational and collective trauma and shame in my line and my family. Prayers for my son to get the new job he feels hopeful about. Praying for my children and their children. Prayers for quick healing of an incision, for removal of small basal cell skin cancer this afternoon. Prayers for continued healing of my knee and being able to figure out the neuropathy in my feet, neuropathy in my feet. Prayers for all people that our hearts shift away from hate to true love for all beings. Prayers for everyone suffering from deep loneliness. Prayers for Herbert Bednars, who entered the Bardo 2 weeks ago. Prayer for being able to move slowly with intention this week and listen to whether my dharmic work is to include a new professional position or to invest my energy fully into being a full-time artist and healer in service to the community. Offering prayers to my dad as he navigates the challenges of aging, health, and transitioning into a new phase of work and living. May he find support, community, and guidance. And offering prayers to relieve suffering for the many displaced people in the world and those experiencing the horrors of war, the victims and the oppressors, the people of Ukraine, Russia, Palestine, Israel, Sudan, Venezuela, Myanmar, Ethiopia, and the many indigenous people still experiencing the violence of colonization. May offering prayers to my brother Matt as he recovers from COVID. May he return to health as quickly as possible. Offering prayers for my new home on wheels. We continue to offer prayers for David. We continue to offer prayers, especially for the deep well-being, healing, and the support of the Kashi community here in Atlanta, and for the Kashi lineage in general. May all hurt and harm experience be healed, and may we all come back into deep relationship with one another to move forward as a community. We continue to pray for the complete abolition of all systems of harm and violence, that we continue deeper into this period of deep decolonization. And may we all, as quickly as possible, remember who and what we are and to reawaken to our most freest, authentic selves. May all beings be freed from all forms of suffering. May it be so as quickly as possible. And we offer these prayers to our benefactors, and we pray that you act on our behalf to bring about what we have offered prayers for. And we return back into just a few minutes of our mantra work and recitation. We can continue to offer the energy of practice into something that we're struggling with. And now we open to, if you would like, to offer the energy of this practice into the prayers that we've offered, into the lives and situations of those who really need the support and energy of this practice. So we return back into our mantra. Om Teata begense maha begense rasa sumum gate soha. O teata begense ma begense rasa sumum gate soha. 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 Teata begense ma begense Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. Te Ada Om Begenze, Begenze, Ma Begenze, Rasusumunga Zoa. And as we continue to sit, still letting the power, the energy of this mantra just kind of move through us. I pray on our behalf that this stillness becomes protection for us. It becomes this way of disrupting and purifying and cleansing karmas that would otherwise become further experiences of suffering, pain, and discomfort for us. May the blessings of not just Medicine Buddha, but all the Buddhas and all benevolent, awakened deities in this universe committed to liberation, committed to the abolition of suffering. May we all experience the divine sacred protection of all of these noble awakened beings. May it be so. And when you're ready, shifting your attention back to the seat, kind of coming back into grounding, back into the body, back to the breath. And when you feel grounded, beginning to reawaken the body through just simple, slow movements, just to start redistributing energies that may have gotten settled somewhere and reawakening them, getting them circulating again through breath and movement. And as we do that, we turn our attention to Shantideva's prayer, which you'll see in the chat box. And, as we've been talking about surrendering, also part of the surrendering is consenting to becoming the medicine that beings need. May I become the medicine, which I think is probably the very motto of the Bodhisattva. Um, May I become the medicine that beings need, right? But you have to consent to becoming the medicine, right? And that doesn't mean this is about martyrdom or sacrifice or this kind of silly selfishness, right? It's about learning how to benefit beings through our speech, through our actions, through our thoughts, that we become the medicine and not the work for beings. May I become the medicine, not the work for beings. If we can take that to heart, I just, if you can, if I can just invite you to practice with that teaching. May I become the medicine, not the work for all beings. And take this into your week, into your contemplations. Right? So anyway, returning back to the prayer, we're going to recite 3 times. We begin. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. May I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. And finally, may I be a protector to those without protection, a leader for those who journey, and a boat, a bridge, a passage for those desiring the further shore. May the pain of every living creature be completely cleared away. May I be the doctor and the medicine, and may I be the nurse for all sick beings in the world until everyone is healed. Just like space and the great elements such as earth, may I always support the life of all the boundless creatures, and until they pass away from pain, may I also be the source of all life for all the realms of varied beings that reach into the ends of space. All right. Thank you all so much for your practice, and may you be blessed and well and protected as you continue moving into this week.